So, which character should I choose? That's the #1 daunting question for newcomers when it comes to Tekken 7. Even without the DLC, which you can see here at the top, all these DLC characters. Currently with 3.31, that's the version I'm making this video on, we have 49 characters. So there's a lot to learn. So you'd like to learn a character, of course you have to keep in mind that there are 100 moves, give or take, for each character. And you have to know that you're investing time to learn one character. Now this is going to be a beginner guide on how to choose a character when starting Tekken 7, and more importantly, what to pay attention to when learning characters. It's also a guide for people that already started Tekken 7, but somehow have plateaued and find themselves not improving, or worse yet, not winning anymore when first starting online. Now, which character should I choose? It's a common question that reappears constantly. And if you go around in the Tekken community, you typically get the answers of choose the character you like, or choose who you feel most comfortable with. Now, on a personal level, I think these statements are correct. However, with Tekken, there is a problem, is that the game doesn't really teach you how it's meant to be played. You have to figure that over time, or you have to go and do your own research, like, for instance, you coming to watch this video. There's so many aspects to the gameplay, and it's just very new to people. Now, the first thing people would try to do would be to learn combos, because that's what's flashy. But in reality, that's not all what it's about. It's about fundamentals. It's about utilizing movements. Of course, this is a 3D fighter, so you can move into the foreground, into the background, and you can bait out attacks and then retaliate with your own, of course. So one aspect is the neutral game, the pokes, the smaller attacks, so they chip away quickly at your enemy's life bar. Of course, they're not doing anything massive. So starting with certain characters has a higher probability of not learning certain fundamentals in Tekken, especially at the beginning, and eventually you will plateau and you will wonder why. And it's not because you're not able to execute the combos or what have you. You've just been getting away with things that you should have been using more sparsely. Yeah, so I'm just going to come out and say it. If you're just starting Tekken and you're using a characters such as Lily, Eddie, Lucky Chloe, Xiaoyu, Katarina, and other such lab characters, as the community likes to call these, you may be in danger of this. However, if you really like these characters, not necessarily because you're winning with them, but you like their design or how they move or or the martial arts they practice, then you should definitely stick with them. At the end of the day, you will learn the stuff. Now, when it comes to typical characters, the Mishimas, which are the poster boys for Tekken, they utilize the fundamentals such as movement and poking, and they really have great tools such as Electric with God Fist, for short, Electric, or just EWGF, and of course Hell Sweep as well, which are very, very great moves. However, you will need to learn execution and placement of these moves, and that's what makes these characters so great. They force you to learn these moves. Then on the other hand, you have characters like Paul. Paul is a character which has been there since the beginning of Tekken. He doesn't really need that much execution. He does have quarter circle motions, which you have to master though. Not too many, however, he does need a bit of execution. And he also needs a bit of movement to get the most out of the moves he utilizes. So he may also be an interesting thing. He may also be an interesting character to choose. Now, in this guide, I just want to show some of the more obscure characters in Tekken, the ones which don't really get used that much, or I just find interesting, but they definitely all have potential. Yeah, so please look forward to it. It's not really a full breakdown of characters. It's just the characters. It's just a small introduction to see what the characters are like. So here we are with Kasumi, and then of course you're wondering why Kasumi. Kasumi isn't an obscure character. Well, in tournaments, maybe she isn't, but when you go online, you actually don't see her that much. So what makes Kasumi so cool is that she's like a poking character, but she has the Mishima tools at their disposal without the execution needed. So you have 1-1-2, the Mishima Flash Punch. The cool thing about this move is that it can be hit confirmed. So you watch and see, and then you confirm the last hit. So you keep it safe till you're actually guaranteed a hit. Apart from that, she also has the Hell Sweep. Great tool, does decent damage, sets up OK afterwards quickly. Very good tool. Apart from that, she also has the other things out of this stance. A launcher. And of course a mid. 2 mids actually. Apart from that, she also has a tiger. Yes, a tiger. So she may look a bit conservative, but yeah, the tiger is there in case you want it. It is pretty cool. It also appears in her rage drive. Very interesting. So with Kasumi, your goal is to poke your enemies. She has these great pokes. Of course, down forward 1 is like a really good move. It's safe. And if you suspect that your opponent wants to retaliate, you bring out the extension. It does very good damage. As you see, it even has a wall splat. Yeah, a full combo of your choosing at the wall. Great move. So overall, Kasumi, very good character. Fundamental based movements. You sidestep 1-1-2 or sidestep launch. Down forward 2, of course, great tool. And of course she has the running 2. Great move. Closes the distance. A great move indeed. So that's Kasumi for it. So here we are with Li Chaolang, a flamboyant, stylish character who's very well known for his keep out tools, and of course wall carry and wall combos. These keep out tools are also ideal as counter hit tools to carry people to the wall. The problem with Lee is that he lacks impactful lows, so you can't really force the opponent to duck. You do have Hitman 4 you just saw over there. It grants a full combo and counter hit as well. However, it is seeable. Opponents will duck it, so you need to learn the E slide, which is execution difficult. So, as you may have noticed, you see a lot of back twos in my combos. And this move is very important for Lee because he gets wall travel and of course the best damage on his combos as well. In Season 3, you somewhat got around it with Lee's new forward 4-2, which is a good move. It has its own place within his game plan. It helps with certain combos, off axes or balcony breaks, but it doesn't do as much damage as if you would go the normal route of using the back twos in conjunction with while rising 2-3 or while rising 2-4. So yeah, it doesn't do as much damage, and ultimately I also don't believe its wall travel is as good. So you have to really learn the back two eventually, the misstep cancel. It is important. So with Lee, there's something else which also still needs to be mentioned, and that's his just frame moves. In my humble opinion, you don't really need them. However, there is incentive to learn them. Acid Rain, which you just saw over there, is a 10 frame punish, which leaves the opponent in crumple stance and gives a guaranteed up back 3 as a follow-up, or if you have the execution, a blazing kick follow-up. Yep, timing wasn't that good, but yeah, you get the gist of it. So another move which you'd have to pay attention to in terms of the just free moves is back 1-1-2. In normal circumstances, this move isn't that impressive. However, if you land a just frame version of it, especially at the wall, you do more damage. It gives a normal knockdown without the wall, and it gives a wall splat whilst the wall is there for a full combo. I don't know if you can already tell the way I'm talking about him, but he's my main. I really love this guy. I think he's really cool. I think he's stylish. I think you can really confuse your opponents with him. He is tough to play, I won't lie about that. Executing things like the slide, which always go too low, fast, so that people don't see it coming. Kind of hard, but really like this guy. I'd like more people to play him. So, next character. So here we are with Master Raven, a Tekken 7 redesign or reskin of Raven from Tekken 5 and 6. However, she does have some significant changes to her, which make her somewhat her own character, just slightly. However, Raven, or like I like to call her Maven, is much like Lee in that she has a lot of counter hit potential, and she has a lot of crazy wall damage and wall carry. So with Master Raven, the thing is that she has a lot of moves which just leave her in back turn, and it's kind of confusing at first, especially because you're used to having your front always facing the enemy, and it's scary having your back facing the opponent. So with Master Raven, you need to learn how to utilize that stance to its fullest, and also how to confuse your opponent in thinking they have opportunities which they don't. Apart from that, as mentioned with Lee, she also has the problem that she gambles a bit with some of her stuff. Some of her stuff are quite punishable, but I say it's quite worth it to learn her, because you can just mix up opponents and they really have to play the guessing game, especially not many people know the matchup that well, so that is to your advantage. However, she also has a Hell Sweep, which is a bit slower, but just like Devil Jin and regular Jin, she gets a somewhat decent combo out of it. Drawbacks of Hell Sweep, well, it's not really classified as a Hell Sweep, but I think it works the same, is that it comes out slower, so it's somewhat seeable. Of course, you can mix it up with other moves to keep opponents guessing, or her wall bound move, but the thing with this move is that it comes out slower. Comes out slower than your regular Hell Sweep, and that could be a bit problematic, but nonetheless it still is a good tool. And that's about everything I have to say about Master Raven. So, after my whole video, I just wanted to highlight some of the more obscure characters, or people which characters which are not really used that much, but really do have potential. So either I like those characters, I like their game plan, or I just find them interesting. I don't necessarily play them myself. Kasumi is a good example of a character which is played at the tournament level, but online you actually don't see her that much, but she's a very good character nonetheless. So just wanted to highlight some of these characters. Of course, there's still the obvious ones. Law, Paul, the Mishimas. There are a whole lot of characters in this game. At the end of the day, you should just play who you feel comfortable with, but just keep in mind that you should be working on all these other elements which also belong to the game plan of the character, or in Tekken in general. Movements, fundamentals such as poking, Of course, combos are also a part of that, but not everything. So, I want to wish you all the best in playing Tekken and hope you master this game. Thanks for watching.